Everybody, welcome to the show. All right, so we're trying to get Tim. I'm going to try to get Tim on. It's a bit of a surprise. If he wants to come on, he's not obligated, obviously. I'm never going to pressure the man. But let me send him a message real quick. And Tim, I'm going to send you a message here. Wherever you're at. I'm live, boy. Let him know I'm using StreamYard at the moment. Okay. So Tim should be on, hopefully. And boom. So I guess the question will preface, is Canada burning to the ground? That's the question. I think that's all in our minds. I don't know everything that's going on. But I want to see if Tim has an inside scoop on what is going on with Canada. Canada's already been a bit of a mess. I ain't gonna lie. So is America. But I want to see, as somebody who is an actual Canadian who knows what's going on in Canada for the most part, is Canada burning to the ground? Is Canada burning to the ground? I'm gonna try to use the cool radio voice, but is Canada burning to the... Let me try that again. Is Canada burning to the ground? Well, we'll see here today, folks, on this clearly 50s broadcast of whatever. As you can see, Canada is officially burning to the ground. No, just kidding. JK. But one thing I am curious about is Canada fucked. See if Tim is willing to go live. Boom. See if we can get Tim on. I got the StreamYard link in the chat. And boom. See if he may have gotten my message, may not. Hope he's doing all right. And even if Tim, oh shit, he's on. By the way, Tim, I got the StreamYard link in there for you, man. If you feel like joining, that is. If you're feeling up to it, I never pressure anybody. But I wanted to do a Tim. I wanted to react to what's been going on in Tim's week. I wanted to hear it from Tim. And that's pretty much it. I want to see what Tim's up to. I haven't talked to him in a while. I think the last time I talked to him was like about 3 days ago, at least a text. So I figured, I was like, well, I want a fresh reaction. I want to see what's been going on in Tim's life. If there's been anything that's been terrible, though, I understand, and things happen. But here we go. We got him live. We're doing a live.
Nice.
Yeah, I decided to get on live, and just first off, I wanted to see how you've been doing. I think I haven't texted you in like 3 days or something. It feels like 3 or 2 days or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I don't know what's been going on in Tim's life. And I want to know, is Canada burning to the ground? I guess the first question is
yeah, it was chaos. My job's on strike. I started having a meltdown. Ate an entire brownie batter core Ben and Jerry's. And you can see it's Canada because the other side's French. And then, but then I saw that LeBron James groin shot, and suddenly my world reopened.
China James.
Yeah, it was like spring happening. I could hear the groin shot all the way from up here, and it was just like wham. I think some guy got ejected, but I don't care. You might get like a 1-game suspension, but.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all, because I didn't actually see the clip. I just heard about it, and I was like, ooh, as I didn't get to watch any of the games earlier. But so, dude, I just want to say I'm sorry, man. I've had a few meltdowns before when when there were certain aspects of my job that were in question, just about like with the company that I work for and everything like that. So I know how it goes to just have a complete and utter like, what the fuck moments. So I just hope things have been getting at least better or anything? Are they still doing the whole... I'll let you explain it because I don't want to give away too much. I'll let you give away.
I can't even say anything myself because I'm in the union.
Oh,
but
yeah.
all I know is they're not. I think they're negotiating, but no one's striking because it's the weekend.
Oh,
but basically, I just kept working. So
yeah.
I'm just coming up with a list of stuff to do because like people are saying this could go on a week. I think the union has about 10 days left of because they're paying everyone strike pay if you picket.
Mm-hmm.
You get basically, I would get about half of what I make in a normal day if I was striking.
Oh, got you.
And but their strike pay runs out in like 10 days apparently. So we're not sure. We're not sure what happens after that. So yeah, so I predict it'll go 3 months. This is like a huge disaster. Other people are saying no, they'll be back Monday. Work will be back Monday. Anyway, I've just been working the whole time and finding stuff to do. There's a whole bunch of stuff to do that I didn't have time to get to before. And now that I'm like the only one in the building other than my managers, because they were on a separate union.
That's so wild.
Yeah, it's just me and the managers, and no one was picketing in front of my building. There's designated picket areas. And my building wasn't one of them, so I just walked right in. I didn't have to cross anything.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's not bad. Well, I'm curious then. I mean, how national is this news, by the way? Is this like national news? Like, is this how big of a deal is this on a national scale? Because I haven't really looked up anything about it. And
yeah, it's one of the biggest strikes ever. Yeah, it's like your equivalent of the IRS.
Damn, seriously?
Yeah, your equivalent IRS is our CRA, and they're on strike. And then my union's on strike, and they encompass them. Like I couldn't get my passport. I finally got all the documents filled out for my passport. I got my pictures taken. I got everything signed by all my verifiers, and I go to do it, and they're like, no, they're on strike. You can get a passport, but it's got to be like a medical emergency. Like I thought about asking you, write me a letter saying you're dying and you've got like 2 weeks to live. And then if you give me that, I can bring that to the passport office and they might process mine. Otherwise, I got to wait. And the thing is, when you get your picture taken for a passport, you've got like 30 days to submit it, or you got to get another picture taken or something. So I'm hoping it resolves before then so I can just go submit this thing and pay my $100 to try and get a passport. Man,
that's insane. I didn't realize that so actually I just looked up the news articles, by the way. I haven't really even bothered to check so I'm looking at Google News right now. So it's saying Canada's striking federal workers call on Trudeau to speed up contract talks. Canada's largest ever strike against a sole employer is underway. Wow, setting up 250 picket lines across the country. 155,000 members of the Public Service Alliance of Canada have gone on strike. Wow, man, this is insane, dude. This is actually, I didn't realize how big this was because I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't think I've ever really heard of Canadians striking against their government at this scale, at least from what I know of. So I was like, whoa, it's crazy. Yeah, I think there hasn't been like this kind of strike since like 2004 or something. And then there's another one in the 90s. Like there's strikes with different companies. But as far as like a public worker strike, I think 2004 or something was the last one. So basically, yeah, I think the union can fine me for crossing the picket line. But apparently the province I'm in and most of the provinces aren't enforcing the fines, or they don't have a history of doing that. Only one of them really does that or something. And they can only fine you how much you made per day. So I actually take home after everything's deducted and everything's taxed and pension, and I get about $140. So if I was to picket, I'd get like $75 is what they're paying. And because you have to picket for 4 hours, you get $75. And I could do that, but it's just I could show up to work and get double. Like I was the only one in the building, except for like there's a couple of co-op students and people like that who aren't in the union, and like some temporary workers and stuff. But for the most part, it was just kind of me. And there's some weird stuff in my building, like the IT people. They're on a separate thing. So there's like some different layers of unions. So there's a few IT people. Like my manager was there. She needed a new mouse. I went and got her a mouse from like the 7th floor or something. So it's like stuff like that. But yeah, I had some stuff to do in the office anyway. So I'm just gonna go to work on Monday, and I'm just gonna keep going to work. And then because the problem is, here's what happens: is our pay system is apparently it's really messed up. Like before I got there, I haven't been there that long, but people were like not getting paid, and then they were getting like Jesus.
they're getting charged with like they got overpayments and then that got subtracted. Like some people lost their house apparently. Some people ended up in like therapy because they didn't get paid for months and they were losing everything. Like this is all before I got here. This happened like 10 years ago or something. So but our pay system still isn't great. Like mine's been mostly pretty good since I've been there, but apparently there's issues. And what'll happen is you're still going to get paid, like even if you're on strike normally. But once you're back, you've got to go into the system and you've got to punch in the codes to claim an overpayment. You got to put in the days you were striking, so that way they can, I guess, not pay you for your next check for this time you were. So it becomes this big kind of mess, and everyone's worried it'll jam up the system. So I'm just like, I'm just going to keep my normal thing going on. And it's like
that's crazy, man. That is wild.
No one really noticed me. No one's really noticing me. So. And I'm like,
that's whatever. Probably how it'll go. I mean, because here's the thing, man. They're probably so busy doing their thing, the picketing and all that shit. It sounds like the whole system's inadequate anyway, and I should say incompetent anyway. So it's like they're probably not even going to notice the union's probably you're going to be like a very small blip on the radar, very tiny. They're not going to notice, maybe. And they probably won't find you. Hopefully, I just hope the union doesn't know what they're doing. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe who knows? Maybe if it's justified or not with what the union's doing. Hopefully, I don't know. Just sounds like
thing is they started negotiating. Basically, our contract ran out in 2021, and because we never negotiated the new one, we're just still on the old one. It just keeps rolling over, kind of thing. So we want money for inflation, a bunch of stuff. Basically, the main issues are pay increase with inflation, although. But here's what happened. We initially we negotiated like last year. The government made us an offer, which I didn't find out until this whole strike happened. But for increased pay, like it was like 3.5% every year. Your pay goes up for like 5 years or something like that. But then our union turned it down. They're like, no, we want more. We want like 4.5 or something like that. But then my union wants all kinds of other stuff. They want money set aside by the government for a social justice fund that we send to like foreign countries or something to help people who don't have like food or something. And then it's like, and then they want mandatory anti-racist training. Like that's forced up, which is kind of weird. Like we had a reporter going around asking the picketers, is the public service so racist you need mandatory training? And no one would talk to him. There's like no comment.
Yeah.
So it's like so they want that, and then they want and the other main thing is they want you to be able to work at home permanently. No more coming to the office. That's the union's fighting for. Where if you want to just work from home from now on, you don't have to come in, because the government sent us back 2 days a week. So I've been going in 2 days a week. I've been going to the office in 2020 when I was like the only one in the building there. I just told my manager, can I just go in? So then, but yeah, they want no one coming, because a lot of people in the union think COVID is still like a deadly situation, and they don't want to come in. So that's what they're all fighting over and whatever. I'm just like, and I couldn't decide till the night before. And then I saw the 3 union leaders walk out to the microphone and give a quick update. And I looked at them. And I thought of like my manager. I'm just like, whose side am I on here? These 3 mutants who are like full on communists, basically, if you dig into like everything they've said, like their tweets and their like background of it, or my manager who's going to pay me $140 and nothing changes. So like my manager doesn't pay me. It's the government pay me, but it's just like, I basically what I thought was I have no confidence in these people to negotiate like us getting back or, and they turn down a great deal. And this is just, I think it's just for them. They're not even negotiating. They're jumping up and down in front of crowds. They got the megaphone. People are singing songs. There's just typical strike stuff. But I'm just like, whatever. So I just kept working, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, hell yeah, man. Like, but yeah, dude, it's a rough one because I've never actually had a situation where I've had to choose whether I have to go into an office or into a picket line. You know what I mean? Because I've never been at a job where anybody's ever had a strike before. So I've, kind of lucky on that one, I guess. But
you know what it looks like? It looks like they're all LARPing. You know the way Antifa LARPs?
God.
Antifa thinks they're in Europe in like about 1943 and they're fighting Nazis. They're like a French resistance or something.
Oh God.
Like that's what they LARP as. My union seems to LARP as they're like coal miners in 1902. And the mean like company is trying to like make them work 18 hours a day and is like, feeding their kids gruel. That's what they're LARPing as. Like we've got a bus driver strike right now in my town. There's no buses within like 5 towns all around me, including mine. No one can get all the city buses are shut down. And someone ran around my town putting up communist posters like, "Hey, join the revolution." And like some people have tried to rip them down, but they're sticky. But so they're kind of.
Oh my goodness!
But the pictures on the pictures on the posters are like people in factories and like people in coal mines and stuff. It's like that was like 100 years ago.
Yeah,
the bus drivers just kind of drive around and nothing happens. There's like 3 old ladies on the bus. It's like not that bad, you know. So.
Oh man.
So it's LARPing. It's a lot of LARPing. Like they're labor leaders from the 20s. It's just really weird, you know.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. It's a crazy situation though. It just does this. The whole situation blows my mind, like what's going on. But
I pick it, but I got to be paid. Like they want to do $75. First of all, I need the minimum what I'd get paid at work, and then since I don't really agree with a lot of stuff, I want money on top. So for $200 a day, I'd pick it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm checking something real fast. I have this Stanley 700. What do you call it? It's basically to help jumpstart a car. Essentially, my what do you call those things? Hazard lights came on on the car, and they came on like in the middle of the night or something like that. I think the car got probably hit by something. Somebody probably tried to break into my car, and what happens is the little lights kind of go off, the little hazard lights, and then eventually they just stay on until the battery drains. So I found this. I haven't had to use this in a while, so I'm actually charging it, so that way it'll be usable for my car to jumpstart it. I was just checking it out though to make sure it's still functioning properly and doing all those things. Yeah, and I have to it's probably gonna take like a few more hours to charge, but it's pretty big though. It could actually. What's really funny about it is this could be used as it has a USB port where you could use it as a cell phone charger.
Yeah.
So I could charge my phone if I really wanted to on there. In fact, I could still check and see if the battery itself is really working. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try a weird experiment. But you keep talking though.
I thought this was Biden's new energy policy. I thought you were just trying to power your phone or something with that thing.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's the magic of Joe Biden, man. It's the magic of Papa Joe Biden. Oh my goodness. Well, I think there actually might still be some water in this. Hold on. There's some weird moisture buildup in here, so making sure that's still not the case. Let's see. Doesn't appear to be wet. Well, we'll see here. You know what? I'm not gonna risk that. Not yet, at least. I'm gonna keep that closed for now. I'm just gonna make sure that battery fills up.
So you might have to jumpstart your car with that.
Yeah. So I haven't had to use it in so long, and I couldn't find the charger cable for it.
Yeah.
And I finally found the charger cable in my one of my tote boxes, and I was like, yes, I found it. And so I'm just kind of charging it right now. Probably gonna jumpstart my car tonight, and if it doesn't work, then I could just always call my buddy Nathan or something like that. But I don't like to bug him because sometimes he gets a little bit busy and stuff, and I'm like, And then, there's a few, like, for instance, my girlfriend lives all the way out about like a few miles away from me. And she's had a bit of a rough week. So I've been trying not to bug her on stuff like that. But it's just, I don't know. I was like, well, something like this is nice. Cause if I ever get into the situation again, I could just jumpstart my car on my own without having anybody else to have to bail me out or anything, essentially.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's good to have all that stuff. Where do you get stuff like that there? Like we've got, you go to like Home Depot or something?
I usually go to like any automotive store, like O'Reilly's. You can go, like, for instance, you can go to Walmart should have them. Fred Meyer. I don't know if you guys have any Fred Meyers or anything like that. Fred Meyer. Any major retail store typically has stuff like that. But yeah, I'd recommend this one. This one, when I had my Buick, it's actually lasted since my Buick Roadmaster, and it's a Stanley Fat Man. Hold on, I don't even know if they make this model anymore, but it's a Stanley Fat Max. I don't know why I said 700 peak battery amps, 350 amp instant starting power jump starter with it also has a little compressor, but I think the compressor sucks now. It doesn't work. I tried making it work, but that doesn't work anymore. It's still up in the air whether this thing actually can still jumpstart a car because I haven't had to use it in a while. So crossing my fingers basically on this one. So
jump it, yeah. Well, but what do you got? I know you got that thing, and you've got a vacuum. Like, what other devices you got back there?
yeah. So I got my
You got an air conditioner, probably.
Oh no, that's a heater. That's my heater right there.
Okay.
It's coming to the point where I'm not even going to really need it because it's springtime, but it still gets a little cold around here sometimes. And then I got my what other sort of weird devices do I got? I got my vacuum behind me. I recently got a new air purifier, which is pretty cool. My building's really old, and there's like really weird smells that come from certain areas of the building.
I like you got a metal folding chair in case like Undertaker kicks down the door and it's like a Falls Count Anywhere match or something. I like folding chair.
And then also I got there's a little bunny. There's a little one of those little toy little bunnies from like Easter and stuff. Yeah. And then I got my tote box over there, which has all the has all my cables and stuff in it, which is where I was able to find a lot of the which is where I was able to luckily find everything. But
tote box, nice. So you're loaded up. So you're ready for a disaster.
I wouldn't say that. I only got like a few cans of Progresso soup. And,
are you in a flood zone? We have flood zones over here.
I wouldn't say I'm in a flood zone, but I'm definitely in an area like if a tsunami happened, my area would flood. Yeah, so technically my area would flood if a tsunami happened. But
man, yeah, I remember as a kid because my town I grew up in did have a tsunami in like the early '60s, where like half the town was like underwater. Dude. But then since then they set up flood sirens, tsunami sirens because there was like an earthquake in Japan or something. But anyway, there's never really been one since. We had one, but it was like a storm. It wasn't like a tsunami or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we never had one since, but they still test it all the time. You never know. One can happen.
That's true,
here we
man.
go. Celebrating with some Canadian. This is Baron Beaver artisan root beer made with yucca root. So it's Canadian with a Mexican yucca root.
Ooh. But, I dig it. Oh my God, I dig it.
Premium craft stuff. And it seems to have like a British flag. I don't know why it has that, but anyway, it's Canadian with a Mexican yucca root and a British flag.
I dig it, man. I dig it.
And you see, there's nothing else going on here. All my pictures are down because this is my last weekend at this place. I'll be at my new place next weekend.
Got you. So you're able to find a good old spot at least.
Yeah, better place, a bit more expensive, but better. Yeah, but it's like a 5-minute walk away. So I've just been carrying my stuff there a little bit every day. But yeah, I'm doing that. And yeah, the owner, there's gonna be is it a Chihuahua? Some sort of Chihuahua mix. So I'll have a dog in some of the shots.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what's going on with me. We're striking, we're moving. I'm not striking. Other people are striking. But yeah, when some of my coworker texted me, they're like, what picket line are you on? I go, I'm actually in the office right now. I'm like processing some files. And they never wrote me back. So.
Oh man, that's funny though. It's like, yeah, no, and who knows what the right choice is, whether to go into the office or I don't know if they're even the union's justified at this point.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. Is it turns out the whole vote for this strike, things got shaky. Like apparently, the only 35% of the people actually voted, which is odd. And out of those, I guess most people said yes. But apparently, there's a lot of irregularities, and apparently, like they kept messing with the dates of when you can vote. Like you're supposed to vote this day, and then they moved it up, and you have to go to a session like with where the leaders talk to you for a few minutes and then you're allowed to vote. Like I did it okay, but apparently maybe I did it right away. Apparently after things got crazy. So like 65% of people never voted and some say we never got to or something like that. So the whole thing was shady to begin with.
Okay. Well, that's some interesting stuff, man. It's tough to say what's
it's just like, there's people in the military who are like, we've got all this equipment. Why can't we, like with the war in Iraq, they're like, there's not a lot of stuff to bomb in Afghanistan. Let's do Iraq, Well, at least we can use some of our weapons there, like those Moab ones, the mother of all bombs and bunker busters and all that. And that's what this strike is. They're just like, we've talked about labor issues since like like early college, like undergrad and everything. Like these people involved in the strike. We've been living for a strike. Every day we just want to wake up and strike, and we never get to it. Now let's just do it. We're forging through. We're gonna strike. That's all I've wanted to do since I was 18 is lead a strike. So now they're leading their strike. So I'm just like, hey, do whatever you want. I'll be at work and just take as much time as you want. I don't care.
That's probably got to be kind of nice, though, to have the office to yourself a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
I spread out. I took up 2 workstations. I had like a pizza going in one. I pulled up a couple. I had my feet up on a chair. It was like I hung my coat up in another one. It was amazing.
It was funny because I work from home straight up for the job that I do, and luckily my job can be done completely work from home. And I mean, if they had us ever go to an office, I'd be totally fine with it, to be quite honest. Yeah. I'd be like, I mean, because we were already in an office to begin with before when COVID happened. Actually, that's what sparked the whole work from home thing for the company anyway. Yeah. So I was like, well, I kind of like it because I'm not distracted by anything. I just basically, I don't have to deal with, I guess you could call it office politics, or we still do like things on Teams and stuff like that, but I'm completely fine just coming in, plugging away, doing all the work I can and all that stuff. But so I know how it goes.
You survived the lockdown. You kept a job. That's the other thing is so many people lost their jobs. Like our thing kept going. We still got paid, So it's just like, my point is we're already in a good situation. The government tried to give us a pay increase. Our union rejected it. And it was like a good increase. I was going to get like, I don't know. I mean, it'd be like more than $100 a month. And then it would go up every year. And plus, I think we get back pay for like the last few years. So it'd be like, we'd probably get like thousands of dollars.
Holy crap, man. That'd be a fatty extra checks.
When I started here, there was some weird thing like that, where there was like, we all got some money for back pay because we got a retroactive pay raise or something like that. And one day, just thousands of dollars showed up in my account. I was like, what is this? So that's what can happen in a government job. Like, it's already pretty good. We get dental, we get healthcare, we get weekends off. I have over 30 vacation days saved up I haven't used yet. I can take a
vacation days.
I can take a month's vacation if I want. Man, I've got like 100 sick days. I've never taken a sick day.
Yeah, because I think I got a grand total of like, because when it comes to pay time off, man, we don't get to rack up that much. That's incredible. Yeah. Damn.
Well, they started cutting us off. If you get too much, then I think they either pay you out or they say, oh, you can't take any more vacation days. It's like around 40 or something.
Oh, hell, if you're able to take a vacay, though, take it, man. Take it.
Yeah, like they do a work-life balance thing, and it's like I get a lunch. I never had a job before I started this one where I get like it's like 9 to 5, weekends off. All my other jobs, like random like restaurants and stuff, where you're working at like 11 p.m. on a Saturday. You're like there's none of that stuff. So my point is, it's still, and I'm on the lower end. I make about as little as you're gonna get in this thing. Like most people make way more than me. So it's like, so my point is like, take the deal. That's my advice to the union. Take the deal. It's a good deal. You're going to get a raise. Inflation's going to come down a bit anyway from what it was. But they're like, no, so I don't know. But, the public's about 80-20 against them on Twitter. Because I watch every comment, like every 9 seconds, there's a new one. So I keep checking in.
Oh, so God. Are people dissing them pretty bad on people? Twitter's dissing the whole strike thing pretty bad or something, or
it ranges from like fire these worthless pigs, fire every last one of them. It's like, and then it ranges to like some union supporters who are like, hold the line and all this stuff. So, but it was about 80-20, but union saw it was 80-20. So now people are on there. Now it's more like 70-30 against, but everyone's like, it's mostly against. So, but
that makes me think actually about when Elon Musk took over Twitter, by the way. I was thinking about it. Didn't he fire I think a lot of staff left, but he also fired quite a few people because a lot of the jobs that Twitter put in place already were bullshit jobs for censorship and stuff. Because I was watching I don't know if you ended up watching some of the Elon Musk Tucker Carlson interview at all, but it was pretty good. I was also liking the fact that he was talking about AI and like just I didn't know how much of I didn't know how a part of OpenAI he was, the OpenAI company. I didn't realize he was a big part of it, but it was really cool to hear him talk about the ethics of AI. Is AI dangerous and things like that? And he brought up he had some interesting answers to a lot of the concerns too, which I thought was kind of cool. I don't like the idea of government regulating it to a degree, because let's say if government does regulate it, right? Let's say if we start making it more ethical and stuff on this end. Well, if China gets their hands on some sweet AI and they put up some data centers to make that artificial intelligence work, they could use that against us pretty quickly. So it's like, ooh, what about other countries that want to weaponize artificial intelligence against us and stuff? So it's like,
my problem with all this is like, what are you gonna do with it exactly? Like, okay, you've weaponized AI. That means what? Like, what are you gonna do?
Well, it means that you can, how like, okay, so when you play chess against a computer, right? It can kick your ass every single time if you put no guards on it, right? Have you ever played the computer at maximum setting on chess? Like, its ability to, even though it's not intelligent, it has the ability to, if you put the right information into it, you make it a grandmaster at chess, it can destroy any normal human being. It can see more than a normal human being. So if you have artificial intelligence, something that can think for itself and also analyze things simultaneously and do so many simultaneous tasks, it can be superior than a human in multiple ways. So let's say China's like, okay, let's launch several drones, all AI controlled, right? I shouldn't go too hypothetical on this because I might get banned on YouTube, but let's say a specific country of communist origin uses AI and starts, I'm really trying not to get banned on YouTube so bad, but hey, YouTube, don't ban me, okay? Because this is just hypothetical. YouTube mods, I swear to God. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that AI, the maneuverability, if you I'm trying to come with so like, let's say I or some random person decided to throw out a drone right now, right? And decided to go from one country to the other with that drone, and somehow that drone had some weapons on it, right? The drone would be able to do so many advanced maneuvers if it's controlled by AI, because AI is more advanced now than it's ever been. So its ability to come up with its own, to analyze everything around it and also come up with its own, just its own advanced maneuvers, it can outpace a human being in a second. No human has a chance against an AI drone.
Yeah, but I just feel like so let's say the AI drone's going to blow up a factory or a military base or something. So they set the AI, and I guess let's say the drone's like bobbing and weaving, it's like dodging bullets, dodging anti-drone attacks. But I feel like they could do that anyway, like already. I mean, I don't know.
I just feel like it's going to get more advanced, man. It's going to get more. I mean, I hate to sound too paranoid. I almost sound like Jesse Ventura right now.
But, I just feel like there's a limit to all this. It's like there's a limit, because I feel you could do that now without the AI. I mean, like, I don't, even with like art and stuff, like music, like they're creating like someone put out a song last week. It was supposed to be like The Weeknd and someone, and it was all AI generated. Some guy won a photography competition like a week ago, and then he went on stage to get his award, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm not going to accept this because I have to tell you, I didn't take this picture. It was completely created by AI. It was generated." But it's like, okay. I just feel like there's a limit. Like, they already have programs that can analyze so much data. Yeah. I mean, there's so much you can do. I mean, the AI, it can create some things, but then it's just a computer came up with some things because you punch some words in. That's okay, but
well, think about it this way: it was able to pass exams. Yeah. That a normal human would not be able to pass. Like, or at least normal human would be able to pass. Well, I should say, like, for instance, the bar exam, the what other random exams? But anyway, like ChatGPT, for instance, was able to pass rigorous, crazy exams. Not only does it have the ability to learn, but I think it has the ability to adapt. And I think they're also programming it with its ability to adjust its own programming, which if that's the case, I think it could become more and more and more advanced at an exponential rate than we could ever imagine. In a good way.
But again, it's just an advanced like robot though. Like you can make you can make a robot 1,000,000 times more advanced than a human now. And it'll have every piece of information. It can kind of think in a way, come up with answers if you ask it stuff. We already have that. It's like, okay, a really smart robot, but it's still just a robot. It's like, who cares? You just unplug it. If you take the batteries out, now it can't do anything.
But think about it this way though. Like I was saying with that, like if let's say a foreign enemy wants to fuck us, right? They're not going to unplug it the moment the drone gets close to us. They're going to be like, keep on going, drone. Keep on doing you. You know, it's like,
that's what Terminator is. You can create a Terminator robot. It can walk through a country and shoot stuff and do it in a smart way. Like you can probably use AI to identify what it wants to shoot and not shoot. It can probably hide and then pop out and do all kinds of stuff. It can probably fold up into different shapes. So you just think it's like a box in the corner of the room and then it pops out again. It'll probably do all of that. Like, but we already know that. It's like, okay, but it's still just a robot. Like, you know, you create it, you can trash it, you do whatever you want with it. It's like, you know, I don't know. But like, that's just me. I don't think most people think like that. Most people are going to be dating these robots and marrying them. They're going to be dating the AI. They're going to have weddings. And then countries will be sending them as Terminator robots instead of soldiers. Those are the two things that will be happening. Like for me, I don't really care. I'm not impressed by it as much, but everyone else is going to be like, that's amazing. Look how addicted people are just to a phone. And that does almost nothing compared to what the robot you're going to be marrying or like sending to like into like a war or something. So they're going to be obsessed with these things. So that's just me though. I don't care. It's just, okay, a robot generated a picture, robot came up with a song, a drone blew up a factory. Yeah, you can make them do any of that. You can make them like program themselves. Like, yeah, I guess it would be scary if they just took over, which sounds possible, you know, but ultimately that will be possible. they'll be able to think for themselves and reproduce and stuff in their own way. But again, it's just a robot. Like, I don't care that much. But like I said, most people aren't going to think that way. They're going to prefer the robots to other people and stuff like that. That's my prediction.
So I have two theories. Either I'm overestimating the power of AI in a lot of ways, or you're underestimating it.
No, I agree with the power. No, they're definitely gonna have a lot of power. It's just I don't care. A lot of stuff has power. It's just like, you know,
because I feel like honestly I could be overestimating it. I think that I've watched too many sci-fi movies and maybe read a few too many sci-fi books, but I don't know.
Computers can do stuff I can't do now. Computers 1,000 times smarter than I am right now. This is just the thing. Okay, this one's 2,000 times smarter. It doesn't matter. It's all just like robot, you know. So like you're not overestimating it. It's just someone made it. It's just another thing, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, people aren't going to think like that. They're going to confuse it with reality, and they're just going to treat them like people. But it'll be easier. Like instead of like some friend that's like a problem, if your robot has a problem, you just update the programming, and suddenly the robot's not asking to borrow money anymore. It's not asking for a ride, whatever friends do. It's just getting you stuff. It's going to the store. You don't have to skip the dishes. Your robot now walks and gets you a pizza for free. You don't have to pay anyone. So people are going to use it. It's going to be powerful, but like, I just don't care. I'm going to walk to the store myself. I'm just going to stick with like organic life. I've already made that decision, but I'll be in the minority though. That's my prediction.
Yeah. You know, I was actually thinking about, with you being like basically the only person there, your managers have gotta love you at this point. Like the fact that they
seem really happy. One of them's like, thank you for your dedication, because we got some email about all this. They're like, if your manager's pressuring you to go to work, report it to us, like the union, and then don't go in. And like, apparently that's an issue, but I think at first they know like I get in a lot of trouble and I fight with people and I'm
Yeah.
always doing like wrong stuff. But at first they were like, oh no, what's he done now? But I think now they seem really smiley around me and they're like really happy. And so like I got an exclamation mark in the email, like, oh, thank you for coming in, exclamation mark. So they seem happy with that. So that's good. I'd rather that them not be mad at me too, because now everyone hates you. So at least someone's like, okay, at least he's coming in. That's cool. But
has any of the management of any of the branches gone on strike with anybody, or is all management just separating themselves from all this union bullshit?
I think a lot have gone on pickets if they're part of that union, but most of our managers have a separate contract thing. So they're not part of. That's why they're in there, because they're on a separate deal, so they're not part of this. So they just kind of gave us the information. It's like, here's what you can and can't do, and it was a lot of just gray areas and maybes, and it was all these gray areas of what you can and can't maybe do or say or go. So I'm just like, forget all the gray areas. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go right in. So.
That's interesting.
But my job can be replaced by AI. You could get to a point where it's powerful enough. Like I got to talk on the phone with people. I do different stuff. Right now, I don't think you could. Like right now, they're saying, "Oh yeah, AI can replace." Like that's what people on Twitter are saying about the striking workers. Replace them with AI now is basically what they're saying. But I don't think AI is quite there yet. But I think it'll get there. So I'm just saying, just let me have this job till retirement, then bring the AI.
Yeah, because you have to, with a lot of AI implementation, you have to have the AI also be able to control a lot of the systems that a human being would also have to access. Yeah. For instance, let's say you use a certain soft phone, maybe a certain software for your phone or something like that. And let's say you use a certain software for documentation of whatever you need to document. The AI would have to find a way and have to know how to use those things. I mean, AI is so advanced. Like I said, ChatGPT could probably do all of our jobs if it was given the ability to control any of the things it needs to control. And that would be so interesting, though, to see ChatGPT or something, or just some sort of AI try to do that stuff, like be a full-on customer service rep where it answers every question, it does all these tasks, or stuff like that. I don't know. I still don't think AI is going to replace like millions of jobs, but it's going to replace quite a few.
Well, it comes back to the Tucker Carlson argument with Ben Shapiro, where Ben's like, about self-driving trucks and all this stuff. Yeah. And then Tucker's like, well, it's the number one occupation for like non-college educated males or something like that. Mm-hmm. And Ben Shapiro's like, so would you cancel self-driving trucks? And Tucker's like, yeah, in a second, if it meant that these people get to keep their jobs. So at some point, we're going to have enough technology where you can replace all kinds of jobs permanently. Yeah. But will you want to? Because like, what is the point? Like, okay, maybe it's a little more productive or something, but then all these people are out of work. Yeah. And then it's like, how do you just have a society like that? You got to have people that, like, I don't know, what do you like, basketball? You got to have people with an income to go to the games. You just have to have, stuff functioning. You got to have people to play the game. You got to have like regular human stuff, but you can replace it. But do you want to?
Well, through levels of automation, there could be. So I'm not completely, this is going to sound crazy because I'm fairly anti-government, but I do believe the more things become automated, I think that there may come a time, and I hate to say this, if things get really, really automated and most corporations are cutting jobs like crazy, there may come a point where universal basic income may be a necessary. And I don't know how that would even become implemented, to be quite honest. But now here's the thing. Universal basic income, the amount of income, could also be based on how automated is everything. Are people still able to get work if they need work? And when I say, and that's where the problem comes in. So people who don't have a job because of all this, they get the universal basic income, but that also is incentive for people to maybe quit their job and just get universal basic income. It's a very odd catch. I don't know where I'm going with this, but
well, no, it's like I just looked up how many people does Pepsi employ? How many people does Coca-Cola employ? Combined, they employ about 1 million people.
Mm-hmm.
So if they could replace all those people, they would have done it already. And those things are almost entirely automated. No one's sitting there with like a wooden spoon making Coca-Cola, stirring it in like a little kitchen with like a bonnet on it. It's all machines, and they still need 1 million people to get their product out.
And they still need people to moderate the machines, to clean the machines, to manage, to make sure everything is up to code. So there's still a need for the human touch, but eventually it's like,
well, it's weird with the economy because it's like the jobs will become more difficult. Like you might need more education. Like you might be someone who repairs drones that delivers rather than a truck driver who would just drive stuff. So that requires a lot more. So what happens to the people who don't have the education or don't even have the IQ to like get that education to even do any of that stuff? What happens to those jobs? But we'll see because there's mass production going on, but there's also like way more. When I was a kid, there was nothing like there is now in terms of just like local artisan products, like people making their own stuff and selling it. Like that's its own industry. That's not high IQ. Like it requires some kind of skills and stuff, but like I buy all kinds of stuff just from local people in my town, like food and all kinds of stuff that I don't need to go to the supermarket for. So there's that too. That's developing at the same time. So that's probably what will happen. There'll be a lot of like local people who had their job replaced, but now they could make anything. You make fucking bicycles, sell bread, everyone's got we got people have honey farms here. You can buy all kinds of like eggs. You can buy local beer. Like everyone's just going to start making their own stuff. I think those are what people do who had their job replaced by like AI and automation. It'll be like local and they'll like make things to sell. That's my guess.
That's honestly a pretty good guess in my opinion. So
that's if you're not just a laborer. Like you can do landscaping and stuff. Like there'll be that too, which there already is. But if you have some skill, but your job got replaced, you're probably going to find some like thing to do like that. So.
Yeah.
So which is fine. That's probably better. Like my town's awesome. It's like I could just live off of stuff in my neighborhood if I had to, like for food. And I'm just in like a little crappy town in Canada, which is like, no one even cares about artists and stuff here other than me, but people make it and I buy it. So it's like, and I can just live. I buy soap made here. I don't have to like really go to the supermarket for anything if I don't want to. But some stuff's cheaper, so I do. But it's like, so I think maybe that'll be. So that sounds better. In a lot of ways, there'll be more people making stuff. Like they talk about gentrification, and that's usually like craft beer, people who make their own soap. That's homemade like honey farms. That's like people's eggs from like their backyard. Yeah, it's gentrification, but before that, everything was just you can go to Walmart and get all that, and it was made like 1,000 miles away in some factory, and it's not as good. It's got glucose and it's got soy in it. But I think it'll be better in the future. There'll be more people making stuff because their job got replaced by AI.
It's a grim future, man. It's a grim future.
No, I think it's pretty good. I'm not worried about it. But eventually, a lot of stuff will get replaced. I don't know, but that should be number one on my union's issues. Don't replace us with AI. And they're not even talking about that. That's not even on their radar. It's like, do you know how lucky you are? Stuff's getting replaced. It's like,
Well, think about it. Government's usually 10 years behind the times, so it'll be a while before you guys. I doubt even the government would know how to implement it. I firmly believe that most government, the people who run it up top, are just incompetent. You know what I mean? They don't know what they're doing, and all the people who would know what they're doing usually end up going to the private sector in the management scale, right? Like in management, like I swear to Christ, it's like government on any level when it comes to management. Like you see this with senators, you see this with House of Representatives, you see this with, and that's just on a federal level. But if we're talking about even on local, state level, it's like, ugh. Yeah.
Well, when you break it down, when you get into it, look how many consultants they hire. It's like, why are you hiring all these consultants? We elected you. You're supposed to know how to govern stuff, not hire like consultants for millions of dollars every time you have a question,
Yeah.
But my other point is like the union, we want a pay raise. I already gave myself a 5.5% pay raise to my paycheck through dividends. That's how much. That's how much. When you compare my paycheck to how much dividends I get a month, I get 5.5% more than when I had no dividends.
Yep.
But if they weren't such Marxists or whatever, they could invest in dividends too. You can give yourself a raise as much as you want. I'm at 5.5%. That's more than the union's asking for my paycheck.
Well, and it's funny you just bring that up. It's like the one thing that nobody's promoting is self-responsibility for one's own financial destiny, right? Like I've like you and I, we take our financial destinies in our own hands because we realize that at the end of the day, while there is a possibility we could get bailed out if we fuck up, we don't want to go down that route. We don't want the government to bail us out. We'd prefer not to have family bail us out either. And it's like, I actually see what you're saying completely, to be honest, but like, financial destiny, it's in one's hands, but nobody wants to promote that. No government wants to promote that. They just want to say that, oh, don't worry, we'll take care of you. There's no need to take care of yourself as an individual. Don't think for yourself. We got you covered. That's like with Social Security and all that stuff. I still think that it's all ridiculous, but I think Social Security, by the way, in the United States is going to go bankrupt. It's my theory.
Yeah, I'd save your money in case that happens, because it could.
Well, that's one of the reasons why, like I said, I buy and hold all sorts of companies, man. My portfolio is so diversified, it's disgusting.
But here's the thing. Okay, like UFC's coming to Vancouver in 2 months. I thought I was going to go. I went to the last two, but this one's a pay-per-view, so the tickets are a lot more. So right now, front row is $10,000. There's like a couple. Most of the tickets are sold already. There's a few seats left. You can sit front row for $10,000. You can sit way up for like $1,000. But like when I went before, it was like, I think I paid $150, but this one's a pay-per-view, so it's more. So I've decided I'm probably not going to go, and that's fine. But it's like, but that's the thing. I could go. I have to sell some shares, but I can sit front row if I want to, right? There's other people I know at my job who have money problems, and I don't understand why. They're like, well, we just came back from Hawaii, just came back from Mexico, we just came back from Florida. I'm like, you're not supposed to live like above your means like that. But financialism, Georgie, he made a point on Twitter today. He went into this whole thing. About like materialism and saving your money and everything, but someone made a comment on his thing. I commented, someone commented on my thing, and they were like, they were saying, well, what if everyone did that though? What if everyone was just frugal? Wouldn't that shut down the whole economy? Like, and I'm like, yeah, it would. And not only would it, but most people aren't capable of being that frugal. Yeah. Like what Georgie's done. He's up to like save like $400,000 or something on like a lower middle class income. Yeah, he lives with his mom for free, and he's got some like different things going on, but he saved it. But it's like, but most people aren't capable of that, and it's not even a question. The answer is no, they're not going to do it. So it's better to be one of the few like elites who are actually going to see what's going on. And yeah, I'll be cheap. I'll save the money, and it's not going to destroy the economy because most people aren't going to do it. Most people are still going to go to Mexico. Like at my job, it seems like they're there every like 2 months or something. Yeah. but I'm not going to the UFC. If I was one of them, I'd be front row. I'd have my ticket already. Stuff like that. So yeah, it would destroy the economy. But that's not going to happen because no one's going to be cheap like that. But you should be one of the few who is, because it's like a great benefit. That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, it's like the old saying, if everybody's doing it, it's probably bad for you. So I really believe that. Like one of the few things that I do that everybody else does is I drink alcohol. And even that I've lowered down on, because I asked myself the question, everybody does, I always ask myself, if everybody's doing it, should I really be doing it? Like I ask myself that question all the time, and the answer is usually no for a lot of things. Yeah. Even wearing clothes, I go out in public, I'm like wearing clothes in public, and I'm like, everybody's wearing clothes, so I got to take off all my clothes. No, just kidding. I don't do that. There are some things I do. I'm just kidding. Don't arrest me, anybody. I swear I do keep my clothes on in public. But no, but like, for instance, like if you think logically about it, there's a lot of stuff that people do commonly that's bad for you, that really doesn't give you any happiness or leg up, or doesn't even, I don't know, it doesn't do any good for anybody. You know what I mean? Like
And
I
it's
said with
almost like
drinking.
and they can't afford it. It's like you can't afford to go to Mexico as much as you do. You can't afford to go to Disney World. You don't even have kids. Why are you going to Disney World with your boyfriend? Like, I talk to these people, it's like, and then I tell them about stocks. They're like, I don't know, that sounds weird. I'm like, all right.
I love how people think it's risky to invest in stocks, but they're willing to blow tons of money either at the casino, or they're willing to blow tons of money on a stupid vacation. That they're going to be like, oh shit, I forgot I went into debt for this stupid fucking vacation, which is even more riskier because you're going into debt for a vacation. Like, oh, let's put this on the credit card.
They don't know what to do with their money. Even rich people don't know what to do with their money. Like, I was searching some stuff on eBay earlier just to like check. I always come up with that thing, and then I search whatever the highest price for it is. So I'm like, what's the most expensive autograph you can buy on eBay? Like stuff like that. But a lot of it was sports cards and signed baseballs. And like, the thing is, I remember when I was a kid, like, even rich athletes didn't know how to invest. They would just all like chip in and buy part of like a baseball card from 100 years ago. They would buy like signed stuff. They'd buy like part of like a Canadian football team or something, which would lose money. But like, they wouldn't even know if they would just put in an index fund. But it's like the average person doesn't know today even,
Well, I think the problem is nobody tells anybody that cash is worthless.
Yeah.
That's not told. That's not, if you taught kids in school that cash has no real value and that you should just at least throw it into something that will appreciate in value over time, dude, we would have a lot of smart kids who could delay their gratification.
Yeah.
Today, all the teachers teach us is that you have to go to college to get a great job, and then to get that, when you get that great job, you got to spend lots and lots and lots of money on things, and then that's how you'll be happy. And that's such bullshit. That is such loads of garbage. It's cum-ragged garbage. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry.
Georgie points out how it's all psychological. You want to hear gratification? Nothing's more I couldn't believe this, but nothing feels better when I tie my shoes, walk my house, and I'm walking, and I hear the steps. I'm like, I paid $19 for these at Walmart. Those are the shoes I currently have. It was like probably the least amount of money I've ever paid for shoes. And I'm like, what else can I cut from my budget? I'm like, okay, I need new shoes. What can I get? I go there and I'm like, oh my God. Like, every step feels amazing. Like, that's like instant gratification just from saving money.
That reminds me, every time I use this phone, I think to myself, I only have to pay $200 a year for my cell phone plan. That's like, I'm legit only paying, like, I prepay every year, because if I pay every year, I get $15 a month, basically. So the $200 is for, there's the little fees that go into it, but it basically equates to about $16 and like $16.60 or something like that. I don't know the math on I'll just do the math real quick on a calculator because I'm lazy. Let's see, so it'd be like 200 divided by 12. Yeah, so $16.66 per month is what I pay for my phone bill, basically. But I pay in advance. As long as you pay the full year, that's basically, if you divide it by 12, that's what you get. That's what you're getting is $16.66. So I only have one bill for my cell phone every single year. And I know that when I'm using this, it's so fucking cheap. I get unlimited calls, unlimited texts. I get 5 gigabytes of data a month. And to me, that's worth it because I use my actual internet here more than I use the internet outside of everything else. Oh, hold on. There's a quick little text I got to answer real fast. Give me 1 second here. But anyway, sorry, I was blabbering on too much. My bad.
No, that's the thing. It's not getting rid of instant gratification. It's shifting the mindset of what gives you gratification.
Oh yeah.
It's like, some people's gratification is having the newest phone and having the best, most expensive plan you can buy. That's their gratification. Or getting the new Nike turducken shoes like Gavin bought. He had the Nike turduckens, right? But it's like, but if you shift your gratification to what feels good is the cheaper phone plan and the cheap shoes, then you're still getting gratification. It's just now you can invest, So it's just about shifting. It's all psychological. So get gratification out of different things. And eventually, like, it's not easy at first, but eventually you kind of hover and you hit the spot where you're like, okay, I can still live my life. It's not like every day's not like some like miserable nightmare because I'm totally cheap on everything, you know?
Yeah.
So, but
well, and the thing is, like, I think the thing is for me, because I'm pretty grateful for a lot of stuff just naturally. Yeah. So it's very easy for me to be happy with what I got. Like, no joke. I am lucky. I'm lucky. And I think maybe I'm not lucky. I don't know. Maybe I wired myself this way. I have no idea. But growing up, there would be times where we had nothing, and there would be times where we had something. I was used to being poor or being at least somewhat wealthy, depending on if my dad was able to work at the time. So it'd be like, but I saw both sides of the spectrum. I saw both sides of what it was like to be temporarily have a little bit of money, coming in where we could actually, get a little extra for Christmas or something like that. Or maybe there'd be some years where maybe we wouldn't have anything at all. So I was able to be able to see both angles. So I've always been grateful for whether I can get anything in life. And I think anything I get material wise is just simple icing on the cake. But yeah, I think honestly, what's funny? I do think that the prerequisite to maintaining wealth and becoming richer is being happy first. I think happiness, if you can find a way to be happy with just breathing, like, there is a beauty to that. I know it sounds cheesy and corny and as shit, but I wake up every day. I wouldn't say every day feels the greatest. There are some days where I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to go to work. But for the most part, I wake up and I'm like, whew, I'm lucky I get to go to work. Some people don't have this fortune, I'm lucky I can still see with my eyes. I'm lucky I could still. So I'm like, thank God, thank anything,
Yeah, well, I had a thing. I remember, it hit me the other day. Like growing up, it was so simple. Like my family, I kind of was raised by my grandparents, and they were both retired by the time I moved in with them. But they had some money, like not enough. Like we never went on, we never flew anywhere on vacation, or they didn't have that much, but they had enough where, I think they just didn't spend a lot. It was one of those kind of things where they have money, but they don't. So you don't know what they got. Like when they died, no one got left a bunch of money, but they had enough to probably live more above their means than they did. But the thing is how simple it was to be happy there. We watched a lot of sports. That's on free TV. Well, that was about 90% of my entertainment, or maybe you rent a movie for $2, or you get a Slurpee. That was about as high as we went for entertainment. We didn't go to a lot of stuff. There weren't a lot of tickets to things and stuff like that. Or I mean, even if there was, things are cheaper back then. You go to an NHL game for $20 or something. But the point is, now stuff's so expensive. You want to go to UFC? $10,000 if you want the front row. It's you want to play video games? How much is a PS5? All this stuff is so much money now. And if you just want to watch stuff, everything's on subscriptions. Are you on Netflix or are you on Disney? You got to pay all this. So many things are expensive now. It's I ate a sandwich the other day. I was like, when was the last time I just ate a normal sandwich I ate back then? Where it's just I don't know, ham or bologna or something, mayo, mustard, lettuce, tomato. That's it. No Chipotles, no banana peppers, no Cajun anything, no green goddess sauce or whatever Subway's got. It's when was the last time I just anything just normal like I used to do when everything wasn't expensive? So now I'm trying to go back to that where it's happiness is simple. It's a pack of licorice. That's as good as a UFC ticket.
Yes. And that's the funny thing is I find that the richer I get, the wealthier I get. I was already a simple boy to begin with. I was already simple even before I was investing, before I got my life a little more together. I've even become simpler. And I know how that goes. I get that. I get where you're coming from. And
it was simpler and I was happier.
Yeah,
sort of in a way,
a bag of potato chips. I'll get a bag of Doritos, some hot and spicy Doritos, and I'm like, this is good for the night. That work. I mean, they're not healthy for you, but fuck it. I'm just like, hey, this is. I'm so lucky that I don't need much. I know some people who just need all this stuff, all these things, all these prerequisites just to feel even a dose of happiness.
And those are nerds. Those are just nerds. Look at people who aren't nerds. They need cocaine. they need like multiple hookers like at a time. Like that stuff adds up. That's thousands of dollars, like right there. Like they need all this stuff, and then they just need more of it. It doesn't go anywhere. Like you're not happy. You just start spiraling.
I think the problem is I think we're taught at such a young age to compete with everybody, to compete with those around us. Like for instance, my neighbors, for instance, I'm pretty sure that in my apartment complex, I probably have the shittiest car out of everybody, but I don't compare myself to them. They may compare themselves to me, and who knows, maybe my shitty car makes them feel better about themselves. Hopefully, maybe they pity me in some weird way and they think, oh, he's got a crack in his windshield. Oh no, that poor devil. At least I don't have that going on. It's like, oh, I don't care. But the thing is, maybe I'm making people feel better or worse. Maybe they're just like, I'm tired of seeing the shitty car every day. But what I'm trying to get at is, that I don't compare myself to anybody else. That is I compare myself to who I was yesterday though. And, I also compare myself to who I also want to be. Like, who do I want to be? Like, what's my image of myself that I really, really want? And I think it's good to think highly of yourself. People say it's narcissistic and bullshit like that. But honestly, I have an image of myself because I think to myself one thing. If I don't have a good image of myself in my head, then I won't grow to become what I want to be. And that image of myself, by the way, is always changing. So I have to make sure that that's always evolving as well. But I also am not disappointed if I don't meet that expectation in actual reality. I'm not trying to, I guess I am preaching a little bit, but like what I'm really getting at is, give me a second to think about it. Right? I thought I had a point.
No, because the problem is then people can manipulate you if you don't have like a good self-image, and everyone's constantly trying to manipulate you. Buy my thing, do this, do that. So it's easy to be manipulated if you don't have I took an online IQ test a week ago and I scored a 131, which is like extremely high. But
you have a similar IQ to mine, because when I took IQ tests in high school, I usually ranged from like 125 to 130.
Yeah, so that's high. That's high. But the thing is,
I'm curious about IQ tests because I don't know shit about them.
Well, I just took a crappy free online one. So the reality is, like, I did take it a couple times. So I did another one where I answered everything wrong, and it did do a low score. So at least it works a little bit. But if I took like a better IQ test, I don't think I'd get a 131. Maybe I'd be in like the 120 range, hopefully. But I'm still, at least I'm like not below 100.
I'm pretty sure I got dumber over the years, though. That was high school was the last time I took one. So usually I'd range for, I just take them just out of boredom if they're available somewhere. And I was like, okay, I'm just like, I just wanted to see how good I would do on the test. I think IQ, by the way, is a very poor representation of I think Stephen Hawking said it best. He said that IQ is a poor representation of actual intelligence, I think. Something along those lines. I am probably very misquoting him, but that was kind of what he was basically saying it in a negative light about IQ tests. But it's interesting though. But anyway, you were making a point.
Well, what I was trying to say is it was psychologically, it works both ways. Like you're talking about not competing with people to have like the best stuff all the time, but it goes the other way too, which is one thing I wasn't prepared for. Like I can't compete with Scottish people in like cheapness and stuff. Like I'm way too French for that. I buy stuff that no one Scottish would ever buy. Or there's different people like people from India in our country, in my country, are very frugal. Like they'll seek out the best deals. If you're negotiating with them, you're not going to get as much. Like I've sold stuff before, and it's like, but I can't compete with that. Like I buy expensive stuff sometimes that they would never buy. So you've got to define what it works for you. Like you were saying, and that goes both ways. Like, you can't have the best stuff, but maybe being constantly buying only the cheapest stuff you can find, maybe you can't function like that either, So I'm like, no, I'm trying to get as low as I can to reach like that level, but I may never make it. Like
I'll probably, what helps me out, and I'll give you a few tips on what I do. Is and this is, like I said, different strokes for different folks, like you said, actually. I would say I don't think people should all become minimalists or anything like that, but I do think that there is something to be said for being a utilitarian. Like just looking for things, like when you buy things or when you get things, make sure it's got some form of utility that will be useful. Like I imagine myself using the product before I buy it. Like I have to think of at least 5 different scenarios, or at least 3 different scenarios at the very minimum, very bare minimum, where I can actually use this product. Like when I bought this phone, I only could see it online, but I also thought, well, okay, how would I use this phone? I know the processor can do this. I know its memory capacity. I know how I would use it. So I would imagine myself using it and be like, okay, this is a worthwhile investment. Okay, I'm going to pay the money that I want to pay for this because I feel it's worth it. So I think you should only pay the amount you feel is worth the item that you're trying to get. So for instance, when I go to Walmart, when I buy dish soap, I buy the Great Value brand because I see no reason to pay $8 for Dawn when I could pay $5 for the same size bottle and pretty much the same ingredients for the Great Value brand. So I usually go with Great Value. That's a simple example. So it just depends on what you're willing to pay less for. My computer, I'll give you an example. My computer that I use is an HP laptop. I think HP is one of the best manufacturers, and I'm willing to pay a little extra to have this laptop. That's how much I like HP as a brand, because I know it's quality and I know it's going to last me a while. So it just depends on what you're willing to pay for and if you feel it's justified. So it's okay sometimes to pay a little more to get something that's good quality. And sometimes it just depends.
Also with making money, like now you've spend enough time buying and selling and working and different stuff, you know what your value is to you for work for different things. Like I'm sure there's a lot of stuff you willing to do for the right price, like you kind of become like, that's what I'm like now. Like people get me to do stuff and stuff I would have just said yes to for almost nothing before. Now I'm like, no, I'll do it, but this is how much you got to pay me for it. It's like you become like some older indie pro wrestler where you're just like, yeah, I'm like 45. I'll go through the table in the main event, but you've got to give me an extra $200. You got to give me an extra $200 because when I was 20, I would do it for $10. But now, you can hit me with a chair. That's an extra $50. Like that's what they're like. Like I've known some of those people, but that's how you kind of become in life. Like that's what I'm like now. Yeah. It's like I'll do a lot of stuff, but the money has to be right, or I'm happy to sit at home. So.
Oh yeah, I love it, man. I love it.
Okay, we got a couple of live tweets here about the strike. This person says, LOL, working class. Those striking are lazy, useless, overpaid, probably fat, and don't want to actually work and get a paycheck. Work and do your job efficiently or be jobless. 2 choices. Choices have consequences. Remember that great saying. And then someone else wrote, remote work for many means that we are no longer have to go away for jobs like we had to in the past. I really hope we're able to set a precedent for remote work. So government, it just makes so people are fighting it out on Twitter right now.
The Twitter battles right now, man. It sounds like it, dude. See, the thing about Twitter, which pisses me off, is it's how people always say, there's those keyboard warriors out there that are mightier behind the keyboard than they are, in real life. The problem is Twitter enables the keyboard warrior spirit more than anything. That's why you see so many Karens in so many bitchy people on Twitter, because it's where all the keyboard warriors can come together and start lubing each other up, with KY jelly.
There is, I've noticed you definitely notice there's like the hardcore people on both sides. And there's like a few people in the middle who are trying to make kind of like a reasoned argument. And then there's a lot of it's like exclamation marks and stuff. But it's like, so it's hard to tell. I think the extremists don't give you as good a sense of what the temperature's actually like. Because like you said, those are people at home anonymously typing. And let's say someone disagrees with like the strike, but they're probably going to say these lazy, worthless bastards, they should all be like executed or something. And then someone who agrees with it might say destroy capitalism or something. But then there'll be like a few people in the middle, which is probably more representative, like real life kind of thing. That's my guess. So, but it's fun to read. At least you get some sort of sense with. Here we go. Here's where I had the union is going to find out the public has no appetite for their strike. Think it'll go more than 3 weeks. Much of the public doesn't care. Yeah, so basically, a lot of people are against the strike right now. But the fact that I was already having trouble getting my passport, and now they're on strike, which delays even more. If I have to sell my Paramore tickets, I'm literally going to start a riot. So someone's got tickets to Paramore,
No.
they can't get their passport renewed to go to the show.
Because all the government workers are on strike. So, oh man, that's so crazy. It's like, I don't know. It just depends on the job that each person is doing. If you're doing a certain job that's pretty important, that has, requires a certain level of skill, you deserve to get paid more. But if you're like doing a job that's like, like my job, for instance, the job that I do, I'm not going to say what it is completely, but I think I'm slightly overpaid for what I do, but hey, I'm fine with getting a little slightly overpaid. I do a good job, so I guess then again I'm worth it. But for the type of job that I do, I mean, I go above and beyond on my job way too much. But my reviews usually look pretty good. But I don't know, like there's just some jobs that maybe in government deserve to be paid less or more. It depends on the job. It really does. Depends on like like the fact that people aren't getting their passports. You should be paying them more real quick just so people can still get their passports and shit.
We had a situation where some government workers were on strike who were supposed to take care of some military base or something. So they went on strike, and suddenly like 700 families on this base didn't have like hot water or electricity or something like that. So they quickly did some deal where they went back to work. They reclassified them as essential workers or something like that, so the electricity and power could get, and the hot water could come back.
Yeah.
So there's some situations like that, but it all comes back to the old argument. Like people would be like, why does a athlete make $10 million a year and a doctor only makes this much? It's like, it's just the market. Is the market isn't necessarily fair. It just plays out how it plays out, and you can't really find the same equivalencies.
Well,
it's not something you can sit there. Yeah.
It was supply and demand. Think about it this way: how many LeBron James are there? Like, how many actual players can play like LeBron James? I mean, there's people who come close, but not quite. You know what I mean? So he gets paid the big bucks because there's the supply, the very small supply of LeBron James, but there's the huge demand for LeBron James, right? So if you think about it from a supply demand perspective, of course LeBron's going to get paid big bucks because he's a one of a kind. As an example, though, you're just saying like athletes, certain doctors, for instance, there may be a certain doctor who can do a certain type of surgery really, really well. So well that he's almost like a diamond in the rough. Like he'll get paid the big bucks because of what he can do or she can do, whoever it may be. That's just another example. So I think it's a supply and demand issue for the jobs as well. So like if the supply is minimal and the demand is high, of course the pay is you're going to have to fork out a pretty penny to get those people to do what you want them to do, I guess. So
yeah, and also like it's different, the government or private sector. Like people are like, well, in the private sector I could make more kind of thing. It's like, yeah, but what if your company stops being profitable because the market changes and your company goes under? Like a government job, you're sort of just guaranteed that check every 2 weeks for like 30, 40 years, if that's what you want to do. It's not going to go up a lot. It's not going to go down, but the government doesn't collapse because there's no profits. There's no profits anywhere. It's not a business.
Yeah.
So so you have the stability. You're sacrificing maybe making more. On the higher end. So that's just what it is. There's like, but people want to compare all this stuff, and it's just like there's nothing to compare. It's like, how much did Taylor Swift make? Like, I don't hate Taylor Swift, but if she vanished from the face of the earth, or if it was one of those Twilight Zones where you find out she never really existed, you just like thought maybe she did. It's like it would have no consequence on my life whatsoever. And I don't even hate Taylor Swift, but it's like that's what I mean. But how much is she worth? She's probably worth $1 billion. She's probably worth $1 billion. So it's like, but and someone else, the guy who sells me, Ben and Jerry's down at the Circle K, like he's 1,000 times more valuable to me than Taylor Swift, and he probably gets like minimum wage. So there's no way to compare any of this. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of the times value can be very relative. If you're talking on a person-to-person basis, it's all very relative. If you're talking on just a massive bird's eye view of the whole world, then there's definitely statistics we can all roll with. But it's interesting, though. It is interesting, man. Oh man, I love this sort of discussion, man. It makes me think.
Do we have time for the Tim Dillon clip of the week?
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do a quick Tim Dillon clip.
Did you see the one where he was an influencer giving out his artisan mustard?
I know that you showed me something.
I sent you that one. I didn't send you that.
Yeah, I think you showed me something similar. It was something else that he was doing. I think it was like was it childhood actors or something like that. I think that was what you showed. But yeah, let's pull this up real quick.
Yeah, this one he's helping homeless. He's an influencer helping the homeless. Yeah.
Smash the like button. Right now, whose lives don't slap. So what we're gonna do?
Oh my god!
I'm at jars of my own artisanal mustard. This is 100% stone ground artisanal mustard. Product link in the description. Let's go right now and find some people that could really use a jar of mustard. Obviously, don't record this, but we only actually have one jar, so we need to find like a dude without a scar or like a family. We could give it to one of the kids. If it's like a guy who's bleeding, YouTube will demonetize it. So let's just try to find somebody who looks like they need a little help, but not everything, you know? All right. Bro, get him. He looks like really homeless. Yo, what up, bro? Listen, it's your lucky day, fam. Some people say it's Christmas. I call it Flavors. We got artisanal mustard for you. This is my own company. I started this company when I was 13 years old. It's worth $150 million right now. How does that sound? Are you getting this? Can you get me and him, bro? Thanks, dude. You got to fucking pay attention, man. The last time the lighting was bad. Are you Steve will do it? No, I'm not. You want to buy a couple of jars of this? Shout us out on Insta, Twitter, help build our brand? That's fine, man. Like a lot of people are doing shit. I don't even care about the clout. You know what I mean? Smash that like button right now if you want to end homelessness. And what I'm just saying right now is like, it's just, I'm blessed to be at this point in my life. I'm 14 years old and I own 12 companies. Look at the sunset. Look how fucking beautiful that is.
God, he's making fun of like every
bro, it's
hustler
like
YouTuber.
Says, content is king, but marketing is queen. Take this mustard, bro. I got you, bro. Always remember that shit. Content is king, or marketing is queen. I'm out.
Oh my god.
Yo, I think we did a lot of great work today, so smash that like button if you want to end homelessness. And remember, your brand shouldn't be about what you have. It should be about what you give.
Oh, dude, Tim Dillon's the GOAT, man. I love him. He's so good.
Yeah, it's a classic. He's like, are you Steve will do it? No, I'm not.
That was beautiful, man. Tim, dude, he's making fun of like all those like I love how he says love how he used the word fam. Oh my god. Probably one of the most annoying fucking words. Like, yo, you feeling me, fam? You got this, fam? We fam, boy. We know it's like, you know, it's funny. I need to start talking like that. So every now and then when I do like a crypto episode, I'm making fun of crypto, but I'm trying to be a crypto bro in a few of my episodes. So I have my sunglasses on. In fact, I don't know if they're even next to me at the moment, but if they were, I'd be wearing them. But I usually put my sunglasses on. I start talking like, you know, basically like Gen Z does. I start like, yo, what up, fam? You know, I don't use fam as much, but I should use fam more often because that's just funny as shit. But I'll be like, yo, what up, G dog? You know, this is Mikey G in the house. I got the crypto. I got the NFTs for your D's, you know, and start talking like a total rapper chode or whatever. And yeah, that's my goal though, is to become the lamest YouTuber of all time. That'd be awesome.
Well, I heard the word fam before a lot of people because I worked at some British pub like near me, like the owners were from England, and this was in 2015, I think. It's like 2015, and but they had like their niece or something who was like, I don't know, 18 or something. She was visiting from England, and she called me fam one day, but I didn't hear what she said. I'm like, what? What did you say? It's like fam. I'm like, what is fam? I heard you calling everyone fam. She's like, oh, it means family. It's like big in England right now. So I heard 2015. I think it came over from England, and now everyone uses it. So.
I love it, man. I love it,
man. But yeah, it was funny. Yeah, the influencer. He did another one with maybe we'll watch it next time with the TikTokers. But But yeah, he showed this one clip of influencers. I think it was like TikTok influencers. They have a talk show on YouTube. It's like one of them, and they interview other TikTok influencers. Like
I think I saw like, was it Gavin who was reviewing this? Or was like either Gavin.
I think it was Tim Dillon.
Tim Dillon was. And he was saying that like the level of useless conversation or something like that. I remember seeing something about this too, and I think it was Tim Dillon. I was confused because I've seen so many Gavin reacts to things and so many Tim Dillon reacts to things that I almost blend them together. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like TikTok influencers talking, and it's the lamest conversation of all time. Like they're just talking. I mean, it's almost like when I try to talk, it's lame as shit. Oh man, it's funny.
But it's funny because like one of them asked the other one, like, what do you tell people you do? And the guy just goes, I lie. I'd say I'm a consultant or something like that. It's so funny.
Fucking love it, dude. Holy shit.
How do you make money off of TikTok? Do they send you a check? Do you have like lots of views?
Fuck if I know, man. I don't touch TikTok with a 10-foot pole. I legit think it's Chinese spyware. My girlfriend thinks I'm crazy for it, but like, hey, the FCC and even the government thinks it's Chinese spyware, even though I've been calling it Chinese spyware for 2 years. Everybody's jumping on board with me finally. Thank goodness. But it's funny because I end up being right about a lot of stuff. Like it takes me a while. It takes a while for it. It's like Alex Jones. Give it 2 years after he says the statement, and then he gets proven right a lot of the time. Maybe not all the time, obviously, but some of the time. But but like, yeah, that's how it's how it is for me, man. I come up with this prediction, and I'm like, well, this is what I think is going to happen, and this is what I think is happening. And then 2 years later, it's like, okay, maybe I was right. Okay, cool. So some of my crazy theories, I don't really come with too many, but if I'm dead set on believing it, I'm usually right. Like I don't know.
No, I've noticed that lately. Ever since I took that IQ test, I'm like, I think I'm right about everything now. I'm just like I literally introduced myself to someone the other day. I'm like, hi, I got 131. They're like, what? Like, I got a 131 IQ. It's not a big deal. I just took a test. They're like, why are you telling me this? I'm just like telling everyone now. Then I'm like, that stuff I wasn't sure about. I think I was right about that too. So now everywhere I go, I'm just like, I feel like I'm right about everything.
Oh my God. That actually reminds me of something. Oh, dude, that's funny as shit though. So back in the day when I used to DJ, I was only DJing for a year at a local nightclub, and I would, I did a test one night, and I was like, I would go up to random chicks, and I would say, yeah, don't be weirded out by this, but I'm letting you know I'm 2 inches. I'm like, just like, I know that's wild, and I know that's what you're looking for, but I'm taken by a dude. Usually I'd say stuff like that, and like, well, I would just like come up with different things, but I usually say along the lines, it's like, I'm 2 inches, but I'm like acting like I have like the biggest dick in the world. Like, I'm just like 2 inches. All these other players, they all 1 inches. I'm 2. Like I would just say stuff like that, and that was and it was just so funny because the looks I would get, they'd be like, ugh. Please. I basically took the opposite approach to what you did right there, but I would do everything I could to make myself, I would totally destroy my own image just because I don't know. I find it very disgustingly satisfying to have a bad image. Like have other people look at me as if I'm like Satan. There's just something that's attractive about that, because I would rather look like the devil, but know that deep down I'm a decent person inside in my own head, know that I am actually. That's more fun to me. I don't know what it is. I think that there's just a part of me that wants to be seen as evil, but
after a while though in life, you realize no one can really tell the difference. Like people are always like getting together in different ways with people who screw them over or steal from them or whatever. So no one can tell anyway. So you might as well just have fun with it.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I don't know. I like trolling. I think there's a problem with. I love trolling. I'm addicted to trolling.
It's funny when you volunteer information no one asked for. Like if you're just like meet someone, hey, yeah, how's it going? Yeah, I've been to Italy. It's no big deal. They're like, why are you telling me? Like I stole that from Superbad, because in Superbad, the girls walk in and he's like, "Oh, it's no big deal. We're just getting our fake ID today." It's like no one asked them about their fake ID. It's like, yeah, we're getting a fake ID. It's no big deal. So I always use that now on people. It's like, yeah, I just bought some new shoes. They're at home. I'm not wearing them, but it's like no big deal. So it's like,
I love it, man. That's funny shit, dude. But yeah, man, I say, you know what, dude? I just say be as confident, even if it's unjustified, even if it comes across as arrogant, because sometimes a little arrogance, I mean, if you're looking for, and I don't know, try not to fake the arrogance too much, but I think deep down in all of us, there's a bit of a arrogant side, you know, like almost like, I think that sometimes it's good to be confident to the point of arrogance when it comes to like, if you're pursuing like a relationship or something like that. I think that's a good thing. Worst case scenario is the person that you're trying to get with, it probably hates it, maybe, who knows, but you know what I mean? So I was going to say, if sometimes just blind confidence, I wouldn't even call it blind, because if you believe in yourself, that's all that matters. People usually see that too. If you start believing in yourself, like just like, I could talk to whoever, I could do whatever, you know, if you start having that, they almost think like, ooh, it's almost like a certain mystery there. You know, you become kind of mysterious in a good way.
Yeah, you know, depends who you're talking to. You know, I think that's an IQ thing too. It's like if you're talking to someone smarter, it's better to be a bit more real. But you know, that's not that many people. Like most people, it's like, especially if you're trying to date, it's like, yeah, do like maybe a bit more overconfidence and stuff like that. Because you know, especially in my town, it's like, you know, women all the time, like they seem to date a lot of confident guys. I'm like, so how come he had to lend him rent money last month? It's like, if he has that much confidence, shouldn't he have like some together?
Well,
It's
and
like,
confidence takes practice.
Yeah.
Confidence. So like, for instance, you don't like, I'll give you an example. You don't become a good basketball player by pretending to be a good basketball player. Right. So how, you know, I actually sucked when I first started playing basketball. I got really good by just practicing at the game, at the craft. So if you practice confidence, the confidence can turn from fake to real in no time. You could be confident and you can be real about it. It just takes practice to be confident. I have to admit, I'm very by default an introverted person. So it was tough for me to ever become a confident person, to just be boom right there. And now I don't shut up. Now I do think that, I mean, there are times I'm still lacking confidence, but a lot of the times though, I do feel real about my confidence, like with what I know, how I feel. Sometimes, like right now, I'm feeling tired and unconfident, but you know, like I'm feeling very real though, I guess you could
that's
say.
another thing that comes with age too. If you have enough experiences, you kind of build up, you know, certain things. Then life gets easier. I find life has gotten easier as I've gotten older. It was very hard before, but yeah, you know, confidence is part of that though. Like whatever you want to call it, confidence, competence, or you know, but you just have enough experiences where, yeah, you can go into more situations, and you're not, you know, you kind of get to a point where you feel like I can go into any situation and figure it out. You know, that's sort of the main thing. You know,
Yeah.
So you kind of have a new confidence where it's like, you know, not a lot's going to phase me at this point. I've seen a lot of crap. Oh, we got a new tweet. Union leadership aren't working for their members. Only 35% of the 120,000 workers cast ballots in the vote to strike. They've gone rogue. So people are onto this strike vote.
Oh, okay. So it's looking like the strike is there's a ruse. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go here in just a little bit, man. I'm starting to tire out a little, but I gotta drink a few things. I gotta.
This guy says fire them all. No, what's funny is like, you ever see the movie Apocalypse Now? That Vietnam War movie.
Apocalypse. Actually, no, I don't think I've ever seen it. No, I've heard of
funny.
it.
Yeah, it's based on the book Heart of Darkness from like the colonial times in Africa. Anyway, the Martin Sheen, he's going down the river because some like colonel in Vietnam has gone rogue, and he's just like created his own army out of locals, and he's just like attacking. So they got to go kill this colonel. That's what it's about. But anyway, yeah. Martin Sheen gets to them, and he's flipping through the guy's paperwork like he's kind of gone insane, and he's like typing all this stuff. And one of them just says like drop the bomb, exterminate them all, or something like that. But that's what these tweets are like. Every time I see a new, like this one right here says fire them all. That was 24 seconds ago. But it's like you're reading the colonel's tweets from Apocalypse Now. He's just like, execute them all, get rid of them all.
No, man.
I'm up the river on this Twitter thread.
I love it,
Oh,
man. I
man.
love it. It's good shit.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. Yeah, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah,
Well,
that's
I
my
want to
advice
go
in
here
life.
in just a minute though, but I'll give you like 5 more minutes, man, because I am like I'm getting tired. It's actually been a fun conversation though, but we've covered all sorts of shit. We've covered all sorts of stuff. Oh my god, I love it. But yeah, if you got anything else you think that's been kind of hanging in the brain, man, just let it out.
Yeah, what do I say? Anything else going on financially? Yeah, I don't know. Just this Caleb Hammer guy is still cranking out videos.
Oh, Caleb Hammer, dude, he's just like interviewing these millennials that seem to all be in debt. It looks like
Apparently there's a
massive
crazy,
debt, really
yeah,
massive debt.
he said there's a crazy one on Monday or something like that. He says it's the craziest one yet. So we'll see what happens Monday. But like I'm getting a little bored of them because they're all the same. Like
Yeah,
someone's got some debt and he tells them to get it, work at Chipotle, and like stop spending so much. That's what he tells them.
Yeah, like it actually becomes kind of depressing when to see those debt videos when people are like, I almost become anxious just hearing about it. Like they're just like, oh, I'm in like $100,000 of debt or $200,000. I'm like, and it's usually like student loans, and I'm like, oh no. Like it's usually not that bad, but you sometimes like have you ever watched like a Dave Ramsey clip where he's like talking to somebody because they got like $300,000 into debt because they bought like a Lamborghini or something, and it's just like, what the fuck? It's like he's
but
just
even those ones I've gotten bored of because they're like, oh, I've got $200,000 in debt and we got credit card debt, and then you ask them, well, how much do you make a year? Well, I'm only making $400,000 a year right now as like a doctor, and my wife is only making $200,000. It's like, so a lot of these people are making enormous amounts of money.
Yeah, they're usually okay. But then you'll see like
situations.
Dave
Ramsey up, It's like,
yeah. The problem is that they don't know how to. I don't know what the case is there. I think that they just want to call Dave Ramsey just so they could be on the show.
Ramsey's great lifestyle still, and Ramsey's point is, okay, you need to move into a smaller apartment. You need to get like downgrade your car, and they're like, oh, okay, thanks. It's like I don't understand why they need to call him about that. It's like,
dude, I want to actually prank call the Ramsey show, and I want to just be like, all right, so I'm $300,000 into debt. I maxed out a lot of my credit cards because Consuela from overseas promised that she would be with me. Stuff like Russian bride shit or something like that. Like all those those like Andrew Tate pyramid schemes where like
tell him you had to pay for her gender transition.
Oh my god, yeah. So yeah, I had to get her over the border.
Tell her you agreed to marry her if she would transition to a woman.
That's another. Oh my god. So Dave Ramsey's super Christian, so he'd be like probably like weirded out by the whole thing. Like, okay, this is getting me all.
And then tell him, yeah. And then she gets here, and long story short, she didn't transition as much as I paid for. And now I'm still on the hook for all this. What do I do? Because people always ask him, like he always says, I have to eat rice and beans. Like you need to start eating rice and beans. He's like, should I be eating rice and beans? Tell her no. To be like, no, I've been feeding her rice and beans because that's normal for the country I got her from. But I'm still eating steaks every night. Do I need to cut that back?
Oh man, too fucking funny.
But yeah, Caleb Hammer, he's like, yeah, it's all the same. It's like stop spending so much on food and get a second job. But you were saying you get nervous for the people. I kind of get like that when you watch interrogation videos, like for like a murderer. But it's the same thing. You're watching because you feel like you watch his interrogation videos, you feel like you murdered someone. And it's like, oh my god, they're gonna break. It's like,
oh my god, I kind of get that feeling because it's like just because the whole process just looks so nerve wracking. It's like, holy god, it's like, ugh. I mean,
I can't believe how many people are buying OnlyFans. Like the last few he's done, he's gone through their thing. It's like, okay, we've got an OnlyFans, Chipotle, Amazon, Chipotle, OnlyFans. And he just keeps like skipping over it.
Oh my god! Honestly, I think. Did you see Alex Stein's video where he was talking about how male representation on OnlyFans is skewed? That female, he was showing a picture of him in a swimming suit, as a female swimming suit, and then he was comparing it to a picture of a OnlyFans model who is a good-looking woman, basically, and he's like, this is just as sexy as this. And he's like pointing at him in the female swimming suit. And he's like, this is just as sexy as this. Can you please give me money for my OnlyFans? And like, he just has a box and people are like, okay, fine. Just get away from me. Free.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, he had a box. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, I love it. He's like, but this is just as sexy as this OnlyFans. It's like, oh, dude, I was dying, man. I was dying. He's too funny, man. Alex Stein, he's a crazy mofo, but he's pretty funny, man.
Yeah, he did a hilarious one the other day. It was something in his studio. He claims one of the guys who works for him was cheating on his wife with him, and then the wife shows up and everyone's screaming. His little set is like an actual blimp, like you're flying in a blimp.
Yep. I love Primetime with Alex Stein, man. It's a funny show. It's a little ridiculous sometimes. I can only ever watch bits and pieces, but it feels like the old Adult Swim. Like Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I don't remember Space Ghost or not, but
I saw a bit of it. Yeah, it was on US TV. We got a little bit of it.
But yeah, it reminds me so much of like Space Ghost Coast to Coast sort of comedy. Also reminds me a little bit of the Eric Andre show, just a little bit too, with how random some of the situations can be, in the way he reacts to things. I love it when he waterboarded his producer, for instance. Oh God, he keeps lighting fireworks and almost burning down the set. All sorts of stupid shit. I love it, man.
Hey, what's going on with Crowder? Okay, here's what I'm confused. Like Dave Landau did that whole interview with Michael Malice yesterday, all about how
I saw the interview. Oh my
God! And then Anthony Cumia just reacted to it today because Landau worked on Cumia's show before he split in the middle of the night and didn't tell anyone and showed up on Crowder. Yeah. But anyway, Cumia says he's going to have Landau on and they're going to go over what happened. But he's got all these weird stories about Crowder. But the thing I don't get about Crowder is where is his show? Where do you watch his show? I went to his website because he stopped posting YouTube videos.
Rumble. If you go to Rumble, you can watch it. It's usually on Rumble. Yeah.
But it doesn't say that on his website. I'm clicking on everything I can find, and there's no show. There's a podcast that hadn't been broadcast for like 2 years. It says 2021, but that's on there. But then is he on The Blaze? Does anyone know if he's on that?
He's not on The Blaze anymore, no.
So he's not on The Blaze. I thought he was on The Blaze.
Because he basically went independent. He took his little mug club subscription thing, and he went to Rumble, which Rumble has an exclusive deal with him, kind of like how Spotify has a exclusive deal with Joe Rogan and shit like that. What? But I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Crowder. Crowder's he's okay. Crowder's okay. I've always been okay with Crowder. I'm not super duper fanboy of him, but I'm not super against him. He does seem like he's a pain in the ass to work with, though. I can imagine Crowder being a bit of a pain in the butt to work with, but
he got in that argument with Rogan that time over marijuana. Do you remember that?
Vaguely, it sounds. I think I remember. Rogan got kind of pissed at Crowder quite a bit, actually, if I remember correctly. I can't remember.
They argued for 2 hours, and then Crowder missed his flight. He looks at his watch an hour, and he's like, "Damn, I missed my flight." He starts getting even more mad. So anyway, they just talked about it. But
I need to watch this clip. Holy shit, that actually sounds
look up
funny.
Crowder Rogan argue about marijuana. But
see, I like watching people heavily debate or get pissed off at each other, because it's cheap WWE, basically. It's like WWE except for with fighting with words. Because I would rather see people argue with each other in person than watch people argue with each other on Twitter. Yeah. I don't understand. I understand people see Twitter as the public square of the internet, but it's almost. I think I just came up with a great idea. Oh no, hold on. I hope somebody steals this idea because I don't have the ability to implement it. But think of this. Keyboard war. So people say whatever they want on Twitter, right? They're just they feel so empowered on Twitter and they feel like they could type whatever they want, right? What if whenever instead of tweeting, you have to go on video, right? You have to go into a thread where people are so let's say there's a tweet, right? You just type it out. You type out what you want to say first. And then all the replies can only be video replies, no text. and each video reply, you get matched up with another person during the video reply to argue with them in one quick recorded video. And that sounds a little far-fetched, but I think that if you have one tweet and if people are debating it, they should only have video replies, because then they have to show their face, then they have to say their words instead of type that out, because typing it out, you feel so empowered right behind your keyboard. But to show your face in the reply, that's a different story. All replies must be video, but you can still type out a tweet. You know what I mean? Like, it would be a format where all replies are just video, no text. That would be
that'd
kind of
be cool. It's a difference, because right now Twitter kind of feels like some old board game. Like if you're playing Battleship or something, and you're just like, all right, like C7 or something like that, and then I didn't hit your ship on that one. Okay, J5. Like, it's kind of like there's like an element of separation between what's going on. There's like something in between. But if you just had it all video, just say your thing. Let's say everyone you had maximum 30 seconds or something. And then for the replies, and then just like, boom, boom. That'd be fun. You're clicking on video replies the whole time.
But if anybody does steal that from me and actually gets successful, give me a small cut, please. Like, if it actually becomes successful, just give me $100,000 and I'll just invest it.
You just patented it. You're like the Winklevoss twins for Facebook.
Oh my God. Will you be my Mark Zuckerberg? Please, whoever's out there, I will be your Winklevoss and you could be my Zuckerberg. And you can totally jack my idea. I don't care.
No, you need to get in your car right now, drive to Texas. I think Elon's launching a rocket tomorrow morning or something.
Is he doing another one?
But you can get him at like the Dutch Brothers or wherever he goes for coffee. Like, wait in the parking lot. Just go out there, and as he pulls up, you run out and you just start screaming video replies, and just have to write the word patent on a piece of paper with your face on it.
So I'm curious though, is Elon actually doing another rocket launch tomorrow?
I see one like every day. I don't know what I'm watching, but he seems like he's constantly launching them.
Because he did one that was like, it was a super, super, super big rocket. Like, we're talking about like a very massive one. Like, it had exploded on the way up, but it was all AI processing it. So there's no actual human beings that got killed or anything, but it was all basically like
actually
AI coordinated.
Monday is when he's launching a Falcon 9. So
it's crazy though. Oh my
God.
God.
Did I tell you I called the police on his satellite last summer? Did I tell you that?
On it? Oh, really? On like the Starlink?
I thought I saw a UFO. Did I tell you this story?
No, I don't think so. No.
I go for a walk in the summer. It's super hot out. It's like midnight. I'm just going for a walk. I look up to the sky and I see the string of lights, and it looks like every UFO I've ever seen on like the show Unsolved Mysteries or like X-Files, because it looked like one of those ones that was a tube, because all the lights are moving at the same time. So it looked like there were like windows along some kind of craft or lights or something. Anyway, and they're moving really slow, and they don't seem that high up in the air either. And they're all moving and twisting at the same time. And then they twist to the top or whatever it is, and then they vanish, and the entire thing vanishes. So I'm like running after it, trying to find it, trying to follow it. The whole thing lasted like 30 seconds. I'm asking other people out in the neighborhood in their backyard, did you just see that? So then I go home, I call the police, I call the airport, hey, I just saw something. Anyway, I look it up after, and it was just, all it was a row of Starlink satellites. And what I was seeing was just the sun reflecting off them.
Okay. At first, I thought you were saying that you were using the Starlink satellites to actually call the police. Okay, you were actually reporting to the police that you saw, and so you were able to clearly see like a shit ton of Starlink satellites.
It was like about 20 or 30 of them all in a row. It looked
so crazy.
Yeah, it looked like lights, but it was the sun hitting them, and they're all rotating the same way. So it looks like a craft is rotating, but it was just them. And then it vanished into complete darkness. And I'm like, look, it was like right above me, and I was like,
that's pretty kind of cool, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I do like the idea of the whole Starlink satellite thing, though. I think it's baller, but I hear it's pretty expensive at the moment.
Yeah, I think eventually they're gonna all form into some pattern, he said, and it'll all be connected. But I don't know. It seems like there's a lot up there. I don't really know what's going on. Who pays? Who pays Elon Musk? Like, how does he get all this money? Like, it can't just be like, how do you pay a rocket? Like, who's launching this?
Tesla, by the way, has a lot of businesses under it. Like, people don't realize that Tesla is almost like a parent company to, like, I don't know, like how Berkshire Hathaway is kind of a parent company to a whole bunch of other companies. So Tesla actually owns a lot of different businesses, like a whole bunch of different like under businesses under it. So that's another reason why it's such a profitable company. It's a little overvalued still, but so Elon Musk actually borrows, I think he borrows against his own shares, if I remember correctly. And that's how he's able to get like debt and stuff. Like he's able to get, like, any bank's going to loan to Elon Musk. Going to be like, yeah, let's loan to this guy. So if he needs extra money, even if it's in the millions, 100 millions, he can get loans, get bonds, all sorts of loans.
And you know what else you get with that though? Carl Icahn does the same thing. Is you live off the loans that you borrow, like that's money you live off of too. Because and then what you do is you spend all the money on the loan and default on it, and then instead of paying back the money, you just you give them shares. Like say if a bank lends you, they take shares from your company, and what you do in that is you avoid. But what you do in that, is you avoid income tax because there's no income tax on the loan. So if you had just like spent dividends or whatever you were getting from like income, you'd have to pay tax on that.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, so you pay no.
That's actually smart
because you're spending.
So when you default on the loan, and they're taking the shares from you, and so if you did want to sell those shares, you'd have to pay tax anyway.
Yeah.
But in this instance, they're taking it from you, so you don't have to pay any tax on those shares.
Yeah, it's a way of avoiding income tax.
This is why I need to like look up so I need to stop focusing so much on good investing, and I need to learn more about legal tax evasion, like legally getting around taxes, I should say. Because,
go to Ireland. The companies put their headquarters in Ireland because they have no taxes or something. So next time you're on Google Earth Viewer or Maps, just start walking around Ireland and look for a house that looks like has like some old couple in and call them up. Find out like, hey, do you mind if I leave my cash with you? But yeah, I'm just looking at this Starlink thing. Yeah, so you've got Chinese government paying him to launch stuff. You've got different companies. OneWeb is paying him to launch satellites. You've got NASA's paying him to launch stuff up for them. So he's launching stuff for other people is what a lot of it is. So that's going to be expensive. How much is a launch? How much do you get paid to? How much does a launch cost? A rocket
costs a bit, man. Like
rocket launch.
I wouldn't say it's in the billions from what I know, but it should be in the millions.
The price tag for a Starship launch will be what? Less than 10 million each. It might be more than that. Failing to launch. A company typically charges 62 million. I'm seeing a lot of numbers here. Anyway, it's a lot of money. So.
Well, hey, you know what? Honestly, if it gets us into space faster, I think it's good. I like the fact that like guys like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are also working with NASA and stuff, and trying to. Honestly, I like this whole space exploration thing, man. I think it's smart. I think that we're going to get to the point where we're going to send little droids that can mine gold to asteroids. I really do. And I think they're going to mine the gold and all the silver and all the heavy metals from these asteroids because there's so much loose metal in our solar system from all the asteroids in our solar system that you can land on any of them. And if you have a big old space robot, you could just, chunk out all the gold. And then what you could do is once you have enough gold piled on in one setting, you could then just launch it back to Earth, projectile it back to Earth into some secure baggie. I don't know.
Now, if you do the cost, okay, I'm looking at it. It costs $67 million to launch a Falcon 9. So if you got $67 million, you can launch a Falcon 9. NASA used to cost $1.6 billion for what they were launching. So the SpaceX is cheaper. So that's what's going on there. NASA cost an average of $1.6 billion per flight when they were launching stuff, and that was in 2011. $2021. So $67 million. That's how much they're paying SpaceX every time he launches one of those things. So that seems like a good deal. So I don't know. Because everyone, like people who hate Elon Musk or Trump, they're always talking about how these people are all broke, how they're all bankrupt and they lost all their money and stuff like that. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They all live in like mansions and stuff.
Yeah. But anyway, man, I gotta get my booty out of here, man. I gotta drink some of the good stuff, a little turmeric before I go to bed, and
Yeah, it's my last weekend. There's no artwork up. I'm in the middle of packing.
Last weekend in the old place, man. That's crazy.
I got some ice cream. Yeah, so I'll have a new setup eventually, but
I'm hoping the new place is pretty baller, man. It sounds like a pretty cool place though, based on what you told me though.
Yeah, just a suite. I'm sharing with one other person, but that's it. Like the place I live now, it's like 10 people here. So
oh, got you.
But I can't. I'm only going up. I almost had my own place. I told the guy, I'm like, I couldn't decide. I finally decided. I'm like, okay, I've decided I'll take your place. I'll send you the money tomorrow morning. It was going to be like damage deposit, rent, and all that. And then I go to the gym. I come back, and he's texted me, sorry, someone else took it. They paid me tonight. So I lost out on that. But this place I got now is like a better location and a little cheaper. So
that's not bad, man. Hey, if it's cheaper, if it's a better location, if you still feel like it's a good spot, that's the most important thing to you, man. As long as it works, as long as the space feels good to you, that's the most important thing.
And if I can get my passport, I'll buy some Pumpkins tickets for Bend, Oregon, and I'll send you a ticket, and maybe I'll see it in Bend, Oregon in like August or whenever it is. But we'll see.
Oh, this August?
Yeah, it's August. They're doing a little summer tour. So,
well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in August though, so plans could always be up in the air for me. Plus, I don't always travel very well. It sucks.
You're like 4 hours from Bend, Oregon. That's kind of a long way. Like,
yeah, I'm not good at I mean, I can travel there, but I don't travel very well, man. I admit that I have problems with certain card rides, like certain lengths of time. I think I need to get on like some anxiety medication for driving and shit. But even being a passenger sometimes in a car just wrecks me mentally. I don't know.
Yeah, they're going Auburn, Washington, Bend, Oregon, and then Wheatland, California. I don't know where Wheatland is. Do you know about Wheatland?
Wheatland? Wheatland. I'm not too sure where that's at, but
Wheatland, California. They're all doing it's all outdoor amphitheaters and stuff. But let's take a quick look at Wheatland, and I'm assuming it's in northern California somewhere. Let's see. I'm going to zoom out, and it is I think it's north of Sacramento. So that's pretty far from you too. Like you're nowhere near Sacramento.
Yeah. And it's not even a guarantee that in the summertime I'd even be able to go to the Bend concert too, because it's so many different variables that always happen during the summertime for me. But just so many little random things. But I could always try though. I just can't promise anything though. That's the only problem on my end. But it'd be cool though.
Sun River, the Oompa Loompa Forest, Umpkakua. What is that?
I'm not too sure where all those spots are, but yeah, Sun River, for instance, like there's my girlfriend used to work at the Sun River Resort back in the day. I think she worked there for quite a few years actually. She loved it. Like there was all sorts of like, it was really just a cool area. Like the whole resort was pretty neat. I even got to take a little bit of a tour around it just to see what it was all about. Really cool. It looks kind of fun too.
So this Snake River divides Oregon, Idaho, it looks like, right? Snake River. It looks like it divides Oregon and Idaho. That looks like the borders.
Yeah, I think a little bit, yeah.
Cool, man. Okay, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was a good, what is it, Saturday check-in? Cool, man. But yeah. I made my comment. I predicted this is going to be a 3-month strike. The first month will be, it's to start to sink in that the only way to end this is to get rid of the leadership. It's going to take a month of lawyers trying to get rid of them. And then the third month will be negotiating to get back. So I predicted 90 days. Everyone, first of all, people told me there'd be no strike. Then they said it'll be like a day. Now they're saying on Monday. That means it's been since like last week. So I'm predicting 3 months. That's my prediction.
That's a good prediction, man. I wish there was a betting site for it. There needs to be a betting strike. Oh my god, we go on like DraftKings. Get to see like DraftKings as like one for the strike. I would love that so much if they actually started doing like bets outside of sports. Like, oh, how long do you think this event's gonna happen for? Or like,
they do like Vegas. You can bet on all kinds of stuff. Like you can bet on
presidential elections. You could bet on like, dude. That actually would be kind of fun, though, just to be able to bet on everything.
Bet on news events, just like random current events. Like, will they find the vandals in some small town? Will they find him in 1 week? Will they find him in 2 weeks? Who spray painted the Chuck E. Cheese after hours?
Nah. Too freaking good, man. Anyway, brother, I gotta get my booty out of here. Like I said, I gotta drink some water. I'm gonna get some sleep, man. You got the day off tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah, Sunday off. It's NHL playoffs. So it's like 4 games a day right now. So they start at 9 a.m. tomorrow and go to 10 o'clock.
Hey, get your hockey on, man. Get that.
Seattle lost tonight. They're down 2-1 to Colorado. But Seattle, they're in the playoffs for the first time since they were the year 1902. They had a team and they were in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and then they didn't have a team for 100 years, but now they're back. So.
Oh yeah, dude, I haven't kept up with hockey in a while, man. So I forgot the playoffs were even going on for hockey.
Yeah, Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, I've been so busy watching freaking basketball playoffs that I always forget that freaking hockey still goes on during this time too. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, Seattle Kraken. Join the Kraken. I don't know what their fans are called. The Crackheads.
Crackheads. I love it.
I don't know.
I dig it. Anyway, man, I'll catch you later, though. I'm gonna give my booty. Hey, sleep well tonight, man. Rest it up and just have a fun weekend. All right, man.
All right, have a good one. I'll see you later.
All right, later. 1-2 punch. Woo. All right, later, bud. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Tim Smith, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Woo. Thank you guys for viewing, whether you guys watched it live or whether you watched it later on. As always, just be nice to each other. Try to love each other. And rock on. I'm going to go take a crap.